President Xi from China, Kim Jong-un from North Korea, and Vladimir Putin from Russia. This is what they need to be afraid of. This is what the three of them need to be scared of and pay attention to. And at the time and place of our choosing, if called upon, this class will deliver effects from above, anywhere, anytime in the world. Everybody saw what happened in Iran recently. That was planned by ENJJPT grads, targeted by ENJJPT grads, flown by ENJJPT grads, commanded by ENJJPT.
We are producing future fighter pilots, which means that we'll teach young people that have never really flown a jet how to fly a fast jet, and then transition to actually using it as a weapon system as well. This is the only internationally manned and internationally led training program in the world. So we do not only find one host nation being the leadership nation, but it's the 14 nations together in this program. Currently we have 50% of the squadrons being led by internationals. I'm the Operations Group Commander of the 80th Flying Training Wing ENJJPT, Euro-NATO Joint Jet Pilot Training. So I command 6 squadrons and 1 reservist squadron, and about 1,000 people that work day in, day out to produce world's finest fighter pilots.
I'm Kyle Samuels. I'm from Savannah, Georgia, first lieutenant in the U.S. Air Force, and I'm about to graduate from ENJJPT in about 4 days. I wanted to join the Air Force because it was combining flying with service to my country, being able to fly for a living and serve and be with a great group of people was everything I wanted. I've been here at ENJJPT for around a year, and then I've been on the T-38 side for about 4 months. Day one was intimidating. We've got people from 10, 12 different countries, all in their service dress. Some people were airline pilots prior to coming here. Some people were nationally competitive aerobatic pilots. The amount of skill coming in here was incredible, and it was super intimidating but exciting. I actually knew a lot of people coming in, which made it a lot better.
In the beginning, like the first week, it was kind of, oh, look at their uniforms. Oh, okay, they're talking like this and this. This might be the Dutchies. This might be the I don't know, the Romanians, for example. And then as we get to know each other, we realize pretty quickly all of them are like on the exact same path. They are working for the exact same goal.
I think the biggest thing is just the NATO partners learning from everyone's different backgrounds, because even here, not everyone went through ENJJPT as a student, but also there's people that went to pilot training in several different countries as well. So they each bring such a unique perspective and teaching and passing the lessons learned to the students, because how they learn is completely different, how they were taught to fly is completely different, and hearing all those different techniques and procedures gives you a very diverse learning perspectives, which really helps the students.
I think that program has evolved over these last 40 years, not only through the combined knowledge, through the partnership and the continuous workmanship, but especially because the aircraft evolved as well. Once they are finished with the T-6 Phase 1 and Phase 2 training, they transition from the T-6 Texan to the T-38 Talon to learn how to fly a supersonic trainer, and later on use that system as a weapon system as a wingman.
The biggest thing I took away from the T-6 was not letting your mistakes snowball. And that's a big thing we're taught here. If you make one mistake at the outset of a flight, it's really hard not to let it impact you for the rest of the flight. You're worried about it, you already know you may have failed that flight. And probably the most important skill as a pilot is learning to get past whatever just happened and focus on the present moment and learn it in the debrief later. It's a huge step up from a Cessna 172. It's like, I described it to my dad, like You're riding a bicycle while you're reading a book and it's raining outside. You're just totally lost. You have no situational awareness. The amount of tasks to accomplish in a short amount of time is unlike anything prior experiences prepared me for. But slowly you get used to it and it becomes super fun. We have the best instructors in the world here at ENJJP, and they've been super helpful.
Imagine a student having to fly twice a day, knowing that every flight is a grade sheet flight, which means it's graded, right? Every flight is graded. That is a lot of additional stress for each and every one that goes through this program.
You can go into a flight knowing all the things you need to know, but it's not about that. It's about knowing them so well that you don't even need to think about it. And unlike in school, where as long as you know the facts or the sequence, you're going to pass the test, it has to be automatic if things are going that quickly.
Pretty much every maneuver that you can think about that you do on the flight, whether it be your ground ops, your takeoff, your landing, and then there's a lot more specific things. Could be your communications, your fingertip flying position. So think about everything on a flight. Sometimes these grade sheets, there's 100 items that you have to grade as well, and every single item gets an applicable grade, and you're from U to E on a flight.
The T-38 had a midlife upgrade from back in the days when it was all a switches and dials type cockpit to now carrying a multifunction display and a head-up display, which makes this aircraft more combatant ready, even though it's just a trainer. But as soon as the newest generation, the 5th generation trainer, will be introduced with the T-7A Red Hawk that is to come in the future.
The T-38 in some ways was actually easier because you know how to prepare for the things you need to do, and everything's pretty much the same. It's just going a lot faster. What's scary about the T-38 is the margins for error is smaller. You're going so fast, and just the aerodynamics of it are so much different than going from the Cessna 172 to a T-6. You know how to prepare better, but the margin for error is so smaller.
In the beginning, I think it's just the huge amount of studying and preparation that goes into each flight. For every hour of flight, you have like 3 to 4 to 5 hours of preparation in general. And as soon as you actually hit the flight land and get it to the cockpit, then all of these problems just go away, because every minute in the cockpit is absolutely worth every hour of studying you put into it. So from this point, I would say this is the most challenging time in my life, but at the same time the most rewarding time, because here it's everything you learn in the classroom, you learn in the sims, you learn when you do your studying at home, you use it in the cockpit. And maybe it's just an hour later, maybe it's a day later, maybe it's a week later, but everything you learn will put into practice.
I think overall just the biggest shift is their confidence in their decision making, because it just takes time for everyone to be able to fly, but also by the end of the program they know how to make really good decisions, especially in the airplane, especially when faced with a lot of challenging factors, whether it be weather or emergency situations. So we send them solo almost 10 times throughout the program too. So by the end of the program, they know what they're doing. They should be confident moving forward to whatever platform they go onto. So you just have to get to know them, show that you know what you're doing, and also just try to relate to them as much as possible, because I was in their shoes at that time 6 months ago going into it. So you can understand all the mistakes that they made, because I made them too when I was a student, and just doing my best as an instructor to help them become the best pilots that they can be.
At ENJJP, we went from never having touched a T-38 to soloing it in like 8 flights, which seems ridiculous. But the program here is really solid. They prepare you for everything. We've got hundreds of classes prior to touching the jet, and our instructors really push us hard so that we're safe on our solos.
For your initial solo, you come back, taxi to the chocks, shut down the engine, then your IP will get out of the jet, and then you are in charge.
For me, the most incredible moment of this whole program was all of the formation solos, because never did I imagine myself alone in a supersonic trainer jet in formation with another aircraft. And what was crazy about it is that it felt pretty normal because my instructors have been so helpful getting to that point that I felt natural and comfortable doing something that I never thought I'd feel natural doing.
I think if you talk and think misconception, it would relate to self-centered, egotistical, type A fighter pilots. That is definitely not the case, because these are hardworking, highly trained team workers that need to go through a very strenuous 62-week program, learn how to work together, to fly together, because for example, one fighting element is the two-ship, which means two aircraft flying together with a leader and a wingman. And to learn how to become a good wingman means you have to work and learn how to work in a team. And so I think that was probably one of the biggest misconceptions that would lead to that.
ENJJP is 100% a team sport. We're all in it together. Anytime I am struggling with something, I just immediately fess up and tell everyone, and they're like, dude, I had the same issue and I got through it by doing this or this. And then we'll chair fly together, we'll study together on weekends.
I mean, this is somebody I'll trust my life with. So yeah, this is really bonding. Even if you have like a show time of 5 in the morning for early goes or 6 p.m. for late goes, as soon as you enter the flight room, everybody's ready. There's like the tension in the air, there's like fire in the air because everybody's really happy and everybody's keen on flying and pushing it. I haven't heard anybody referring to it as we go to work. It's always we go to the squadron, we go flying, we go to the sims. And I think that's something for me that I think that's really special. Not referring to something as work, it's more like a passion.
In 1982, when our family moved here, I was a young teenager when my father was able to be put in charge to start the program together with the host nation, the US Air Force. At the time, not all the nations were on board that we have now, and they needed to get to know each other and form the how to get Euro-NATO joint jet pilot training on its way. It was a construct of getting to know each other in partnerships and also across how to teach. Not only language barriers and language schooling and the different kinds of training between the NATO nations needed to be standardized, but also the aircraft needed to be shared as such here on the airfield. Over 50% of the US Air Force fighter pilots are trained here. And for many nations, partner nations that are in this program, it is the sole program for their fighter pilots. So for example, all German fighter pilots, not maybe 100%, but 99% of all fighter pilots have gone through ENJJPT as a program here. So that's how important it is to many other partner nations. In NATO, you get thrown together again very fast after having trained on your weapon system, being sent, for example, to the eastern flank and flying in airspace control means together, usually in the air policing Baltics, for example, even out of the same squadron together if you are sent to work there. And that way you have built already a partnership at ENJJPT that then later on gets put together again in challenging situations across the globe, or also in training environments like Red Flag or Maple Flag or other flag exercises within the Western world or across the globe. The student pilot wants to graduate and get his wings and then graduate the IFF part of the training at the end, the last 7 weeks. The introduction to fighter fundamentals, which then accelerates them to their platform, which they dropped or got assigned to during their stay here.
Drop night was one of the best nights of my life, honestly, because all of my hard work came to fruition. And you have no idea what you're going to get at the end of the day. And all the jets are great, but I really wanted the C-17 for all the reasons I described earlier, like the crew, the travel, the locations, and it's such a cool jet. So as soon as it popped onto the screen, I was absolutely stoked and really appreciated Bernard got me there.
For the ENJJPT program, the success is defined by us training the high standards that we have set forth for these future fighter pilots, to develop that for the future, to maintain a timeline, to be able to graduate on time so that the next follow-on training can be successful without any delays. And of course, that we enhance the training program for the future. So success in Euro-NATO joint jet pilot training definitions would look to over 8,300 graduates in the last 40-odd some years that were graduated on time to go to their next fighter aircraft is probably one of the biggest successes this program has.
From what I've seen from the students that are top performers is really just their early decision making throughout the program. You'll see like in their first couple rides, whether it be before they solo or they're in the navigation instrument phase or early information, they're making decisions that I'm like, wow, that's a decision, even a better decision than what I have made there, especially as a student, but even now. So once you see a few of those students making these awesome decisions that puts the aircraft in a great position, that's where I'm like, okay, this is a very high performing pilot as well.
ENJJPT is like completely unique in how integrated all the different nations are. Like, I don't think anywhere else exists in the world like this. And we've got people from, I think, 8 different countries in my class alone. And it doesn't feel like we're from different countries or serving a different Air Force. We're all part of NATO, and if we fight together, it'll be so cohesive compared to what it would be without this program.
Well, first of all, if there is a chance to come and see ENJJPT, I would invite just about everybody that has an interest. It is a program that maybe needs to see more visibility sometimes to get the correct understanding. It is a program that hopefully remains another 40 years, or at least as long as aircraft are still piloted by people. It might evolve to something after that, a future that we don't even, that we're not able to foresee yet.